Hypothetically, chat, in a dream, once upon a time, okay? So, chat, I'm gonna be real with you. Right now, when it comes to streaming, I am very chill. Like, I'm taking things very slowly, which is... I know I stream a lot. Like, I stream every other day or every single day, and I stream for a long period of time. Yes, but that is me taking it quite chill. Because I'm not, like, forcing myself to do anything. You know, like, I want to play Baldur's, I play Baldur's, and I'm like... So, right now, like, I do stream for long hours of time, but I don't think it's serious, right? It's just me, like, having fun and doing things at my own pace. Like, it's a up-to-me kind of a thing. But, hypothetically, in a dream, once upon a time, perhaps, I was so, like... I was so content-brained, bro. Like, all I thought about was, like... Work, 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 work. You know, like, I can't... You know those... I don't know how to explain it. It's not like it's bad, but, like, I feel like a lot of streamers have this mentality sometimes. Where it's like... You tell yourself that you're not good enough. But it's not like a bad thing. You're not like... I'm not good enough, sad, cry. It's not... You're like, okay, I can do better. I have to do better. So then it's like... It's what drives you to do stuff, right? So once upon a time, hypothetically... I was so, like, focused on my own, like... career and my own well-being. Not because I want to be successful. It was mostly because the people that don't do well don't get much. And I did pretty well and I don't get much. So I was really scared. I'm so Zuda. I'm trying not to say the wrong things, but like at that time I worked so hard because I was scared that like if I don't get nothing, imagine if I become a nobody and then I get less. I talked to a bunch of people about this. Are you guys okay with me talking about this? I just want to know, like, are you guys comfortable if I talk about stuff like this? I don't mind talking about it. Yeah, if you're willing. Okay, but please note, disclaimer in advance, okay? I have no anger or malice or hate towards any party in the story. Like, I'm not painting one person as like a horrible person or anything. In full, like, for full transparency, I was pretty hard to work with, I guess. Like, okay, here's what I realized. For Western standards, I'm very, like, scared. For Asian standards, I'm very brave. Okay, so that's where I stand. Like, me as a person. Because I'm the type of person that, like, I really like listening to other people's perspective a lot. And my opinions change very drastically. Like, not drastically as in, like, bad. But I'd be like, oh, okay, I understand. What I think about this is not completely right. There's other perspectives and that makes sense. Stuff like that, right? And I remember in the dream, once upon a time, in the start of it, I got like so much like warnings. I got not scolded, but I got warnings a lot because I was like stepping out of line. Like we had... It's so new to me, okay? Like, I know... I love VShojo a lot. I love VShojo a lot, and I appreciate everything VShojo does. One of the things, though, that I will say... And in no way is this bad or complainy, but I'm still not used to it. I'm still not used to VShojo being VShojo and treating me the way they do. Like, it's such a hard mentality to shake. Because VShojo is way too supportive. Like, VShojo is so supportive. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? And like, I know people say like, oh, Michi, that's like the bare minimum or like, this is the standard. If that's like, I'm not just talking about like, oh, the past couple of years. Ever since I was born, that was not the case. Like, if I'm like your employee, right? Like, because technically for VShojo, I'm their employee. If I'm an employee, then I am like, I wouldn't say valuable, but it's too much to call yourself valuable, you know? Like, you are just an asset. A replaceable asset. And I know that sounds bad. Like, I realize this when people hear, like, you're not replaceable. Rah! That's sad to say, chat. A lot of Asian companies kind of do that. You know, like, they don't tell you that, but they make it clear that they can do things without, like, with or without you. And if you leave or if you don't take up the opportunity, someone else will. So it's always a very like a fast market, you know? Like one of the things I've talked about before that I'll talk about like just briefly again today. In VShojo, when I got my contract, they forced me to get my own lawyer to read through my contracts. They were like, Michi, we're not gonna accept you like signing to our contract without like if you have not seek advice from your own lawyer, we're not gonna accept it. And I was sitting there and I was like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I don't want my position to go to someone else. Because in Asia chat, if you're in a job interview and then they give you a contract, you sign it. If you don't sign it on the dot, you don't get it. Like, I'll be honest about it. When VShojo told me, it's like, oh, you have to consult your lawyer, etc., etc. It took me so long to find a lawyer. And then when I did find a lawyer, I was sitting there with them. Like, we had a meeting together. And then they read through my contracts. And they're like, okay, so what's your issue? And I was like,
Infinity Breach cheered Dex 300.
I have no issues.
I remember when you told us.
I don't know. It's so weird. And then I'm here in VShojo and people are like, Michi, take the time you need. You are special. And I'm like, what do you mean?
If a lawyer reads...
They read it again. They're like, so this company of yours, yes? How do they make money? And I'm like, oh, it's stated right here. They take a cut from our like this part. Like, they don't even take a... I don't know if I can say this, but I'll say this. Like, every money you give me, chat, every money, every sub, it's completely 100% mine. I was so shocked. Like, I get to keep everything. They get to keep... Like, in my opinion, VShojo doesn't take enough. Like, they take... Yeah, it's just merch and sponsors and only, like, a small amount. Like, it's not like, we're gonna be taking 99% of your sponsors and merch cuts. No. Like, they take nothing. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna take a smidgeling. A smidget. And I was like, yeah, it's written right there. And then my lawyer even looked at it and they're like, is this enough? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And they're like, I mean, this is good for you, but is this company real? And I was like, yeah, it is. And then I went back to VShojo and I remembered I had the letter in my hands and I was about to fax it. And then I just gave it to them and they're like, did you check with the lawyer? I was like, yes, I did. I even have proof. And VShojo didn't even ask me for the proof. They're like, okay, as long as you did, okay. And I was like, I have proof. Where do I fax it to? Because I can take a picture. I have proof. I didn't know what to do. You know, at that point, I was so scared because I was like, oh man, this is how Western companies do it, huh? Like, Western companies are so much more complicated. That was my first thought. I thought it's like, goddamn, these people are so goddamn complicated. Here in Asia chat, right? When you go into a business like interview or meeting and they're like, okay, we want you to be in the team. Here's the contract. You don't get to be like, okay, let me read through the contract and get back to you soon. No, they'll be like, here's the contract. If you don't sign instantly, then they would be like, oh, then we're gonna look for next, like the other person. So I'm so used to just being like, contract, okay, skim, 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 nod, 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 sign, and then that's your life. When I went to VShojo, I remembered there was a whole page dedicated to what I am entitled to and what I can do, what they have to do for me, what they will do for me. And I'm sitting there and I was like, what? It's weird. That was already the weird part. And then they asked me to get a lawyer. Everything was so odd. But I really appreciate it. It was the first time, and this might sound like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. Like, this is the first time a company has treated me like I'm a valuable person. Like, I'm a valuable asset. Like, the first time I really felt like, oh, they want me here. Like, they really want me here. Odd. I've never had a company that was like, we want you. Seriously. Like, we really want you. And I'm like, damn. But what if I disappoint? Here's the thing, chat. Once upon a time in a hypothetical dream, how honest do you want me to be? Because I feel like if I'm 100% honest, I might hurt some people's feelings. And I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, at least. You know, this is just like, I'll try my best to explain, but I'm scared that I might hurt some people's feelings. Okay, I'll try to word it as nicely as I can. I'll give context, okay? So don't you dare. If anyone's gonna clip this, it's fine, by the way. But like, don't clip it out of context, okay? Because I will explain myself. For the longest time, in my hypothetical dream thing, I didn't work because I didn't hate working. Don't get me wrong. But most of the time, I worked because I was really scared. Like, no, I worked out of fear. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you're like working because you're passionate or working because of money. I worked because I was so scared that I was scared of the things that may happen, I guess. Like, I can't say too many things because even though I'm technically not under any contract, I don't want to like say something that's gonna cause like horrible speculations or stuff. But from where I came from, right, it's different. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, you probably know. If you don't, that's fine too. I'll give you all the context you need without mentioning any names, alright? I would say that in my dream, I did pretty good. Not amazing by any chance. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I had like 1 million people. Or I had like a massive everything. But it wasn't that bad. You know, it's honest work, right? Like, it's my honest work. But I didn't really like get much, you know? Like, I get like scolded, but I didn't get like many opportunities, if that makes sense, right? And I was scared that if I didn't do well, then the chances, like, you know that meme of like someone digging and then the person next to them is like they stopped and they're so close to getting a diamond? That's how I felt like constantly. Like every day I'm like, oh, I'm so close. They'll notice me now, surely. Oh, okay, no. Tomorrow, they'll notice me now, surely. Like, that was what I was, my mentality. I've always like, every time I work, I'm like, I'm so close. They're gonna notice me now. They have to notice me now. Now they notice me. Like, that's what I was doing. So, it did kind of like wear me off. Like, I'll be honest with you, I am burnt out, but not from content. Like, I guess that type of mentality like burns you out in a way. So I never really had a bad like impression about it, but because I was working so much, I didn't really get to spend any time with like my coworkers or my friends. I didn't really get to like talk with them or chill with them because at that time, I feel like maybe it's because I was new or something. I was still like deep. I was like deep in the like, I'm so close. Or like, I'm so close. I'm gonna get noticed now. Oh, like, I remembered. I was like, I did a good thing. But I even told them. Like, I'm not usually the type of person that'd be like, hey guys, guess what happened? I got 100K today. Huzzah! Like 100K subscribers. Wow! Like, I'm not that kind of person. But on that day, I remembered I did that. I was like, guys, I got 100K. And in my head, I was like, surely something's gonna happen, right? Surely. And then nothing happened. I was like, oh, maybe if I reach 500K. Yeah, I remember. I was like, guys, I got 100K. And then I was like, so close. I'm so close. Surely I get something. And then they were like, congrats. And I was like, okay. No. Maybe if I get 150. And then 150 rolls around, nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe 200. Maybe 500. And then I just gave up. Like, I was working so much. And I was so scared. Like, the fear of... I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. As a streamer, one of your biggest fear is the fear of being replaced, right? That is very, very common. Like, until now, I'm so scared of being, like, forgotten and replaced. Because, like, once I run my course, you know, who's gonna watch me no more? Like, there'll be a funnier... more energetic, cooler person that's gonna come after me. And then I was so scared because of that. But I was also like, all I can say, chat, is my first ever time getting merch was when I debuted in VShojo. My first ever time getting my sponsor was when I work in VShojo. So, is it because I only stream for... Oh, but Michi, you've only been streaming for 4 months. Well, in my dream, I was stuck in that dream for like practically almost 3 years. I'm not the type of person, like now you notice this, like I don't mind not really like growing that fast. You know, like as long as people are happy, that's always what I wanted. But at that time, I'm like, no, I have to grow. I have to get like 500,000 subs. I have to get, I don't know, like 1,000 to 2,000 viewers, etc, etc. Like all the numbers were like, it makes sense as a streamer, but it's just not my kind of... I'm just not that kind of person, you know? I will say this. I had, in my dream, hypothetically, there was a meeting, right, with people. And during the meeting, I was told that since I'm the one, like, I've been working my ass off and I've been, like, on the grind, I would work every single day, like 6 days in a week. And the only day I'm free, I'm working on scheduling collabs, I'm scheduling events, I'm scheduling everything, and working on videos. So I stream for 6 days in a week, and then for that one extra day, I would work offline. I was completely neglecting everything. It wasn't just like, oh, you admit to neglecting your coworkers and friends. Yes, I admit to neglecting everyone. I neglected my family. I neglected my own health. I didn't care if I was dying. Like, I need to work. I need to make this work. One of them was, I've never said this before. So, like, this is gonna be the first time I'll ever tell you guys this. I had, like, a conversation with some people in my dream. And they said, like, you know, some stuff might have been worse, right? Like, things might have been worse, but, like, okay, here's the context. The full context was I let out all my feelings. I was like, hey man, it feels like I'm working this hard for nothing. You know, like, I worked so hard and I'm at the position where I am. Why does it feel like nothing's changed? And they're like, no, Michi, you don't get it. Like, I don't think anything can change, but you are the reason things are afloat. Things could have been worse, but because of you, things aren't as bad. I don't think they meant it in a bad way, but in my head, that was the time it clicked for me. I was like, if I slow down, it's gonna affect everyone. Like, if I slowed down, or if I stopped, or if I gave up, it's gonna affect everyone. And I didn't want anyone to be hurt, or like, I didn't want anyone to be sad, or I didn't want the situation to get worse. Like, the situation was already shit. So I was like, got it. I understand. So then I doubled my work. Like, I put in so much more because I'm like, I can't. Like, at this point, it's like, I'm not even working because I want things to be better for me. I'm working so then things don't get worse for everyone else. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta keep doing this. I gotta keep spreading this. And did I do it well? No, probably not. And then eventually everything went to shit. So I was like, what the fuck? That's when I realized. I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know, man. I never really gotten the chance to participate in a lot of, like, events with, like, my friends. I didn't really get to... I'm maybe even, like... Well, in a group of so many people, chat, there's bound to be clashes, right? Like, imagine having a friend group of, like, 20 people. Someone is not gonna like someone else, and that's fine. And, like, imagine if there's, like, I don't know, more than 100 people. Someone might not like someone else. That's, like, very common, you know? And I totally understand where they're coming from, because there was a point where there were some people that didn't quite like me, right? Not because of anything. Like, it's very understandable because I was so, like, MIA. Like, I was gone. You know, I rarely talk to my friends. I rarely talk to my coworkers. I rarely respond. Like, if let's say someone's like, hey, we have this thing going on, I can't. I'll be like, I can't join this right now because I have another collab. Or like, oh, I can't join this right now because I have another event to sort out. Like, there were so many times I couldn't join some stuff. When I can, I always do, but it's so rare. And I will admit it, it's my fault. Like, I did not put in the effort to maintain a relationship, right? And because of that, some people had this assumption that I was very, like, stuck up my ass. You know what I mean? Like, I was very like, oh, I'm sorry, you are a smaller streamer and I am now a bigger streamer, and because of that, we can't interact. And I understand. I completely understand why people have that mentality of me because of what I did. But it's just like, at that point, I didn't even have the energy to clear my name. Like, I didn't have the energy to be like, hey man, I'm sorry, I can't, like, it's not that I hate you, it's not that I look down on you, I have to maintain a certain, like, I have to earn enough and I have to work enough so then people still see us as valuable. And I'm just overwhelmed. Like, I felt really alone for a bit. That's why I really appreciate some people. Like, some people really did accompany me throughout the journey. It's really easy to feel alone. It's so weird. Like, feeling alone when you're actually alone is one thing. Feeling alone when you're surrounded by 100 people is another. There was a point where, like, I found out some people were, like, angry. Well, not angry, but they didn't quite like me. And I remembered I felt so sad because, you know, these people were the reason I wanted to join in the first place, right? And I really felt bad that it boils up to this. Like, it boiled up to me being cold and distant and not caring about anyone else. It hurts, but I can't even cry about it. You know what I mean? I can't even complain about it because the consequences of my actions. I don't know what to do. Because I reap my own... Like, I reap what I sow, right? These are the consequences of my actions. It's fine. Like, in my head, I was like, I'm doing this for people. But if they don't want to see it, that's fine. I don't need them to like me. But please know this is me trying. And then, after I woke up from the dream and I'm here, you know, there's always a part of me where I'm like, man, it still does suck, right? Like, I don't know what to do. It's so awkward. I feel like, I feel like, you know, when a parent has been gone for so long and then now they're back and their kids all grown up and you don't really know how to build a relationship anymore. So I'm just like, oh fuck, I would like to. I wanna apologize. Like, I don't even want to explain myself. I just don't know what to do. So I've been ignoring it. I've been like just full on ignoring it until today. And honestly, there were times I even just played into the villain role. Like, I agreed with what everyone was saying. People were saying like such mean things and I just agreed. I was like, yep. I would double down. They'd be like, just admit that you hate your coworkers. And I was like, yeah, okay, I hate my coworkers. I would double down because it's so much easier. It's so much easier to just lean into a horrible narrative than to change people's minds. Because the thing is, I can't prove myself. You know, like, at that time, I can't prove shit. Because I'm under NDA. I was under, like, strict NDA. And all the proof is strict under NDA. And it's like, I can't prove shit, dude. I can't even show my coworkers proof. Because I'd be breaking my own contract. So it's like... I remember there was a time I did get confronted by one of my friends. They were like, hey man, I have to be honest, this is how I feel. And I couldn't say anything but sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, do you have anything to say? I was like, I can't. Like, you don't get it. I can't say anything. All I can say is sorry. Like, you are so valid. If I were you, I'd feel the same. But I swear to God, like, I care about you. I really do. I care about everyone. I can't say anything though. I can't prove anything. So it's just like, my lips are sealed. I was like, oh man, I can't even say like, I'm doing this for you. Like, that, it's like, what? You know, you're not doing this for us. You're doing this for yourself. And I'm like, I have proof, but I can't send it to you. So yeah, okay, lah, just sorry lah. I'm not here being like, hey guys, I'm not a bad person. Definitely I did things that are a bit too intense, right? Like, I'm a very intense person. So if someone says like, hey Michi, just so you know, if you do well, it kind of like helps alleviate some pressure. Then I'm gonna double down and I have to do perfectly. Like, that's how I see it in my head. So I'm not blaming anyone. No one is forcing me to work so damn hard. But in my head, I'm like, okay, if a lot of things depend on how well I do, then I will make sure I will do perfectly. Like, I need to do things perfectly. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like they forced me. It definitely could just be me misunderstanding and then overworking just for the fun of it. Yeah, it's definitely not something... I'm not saying like, oh my god, guys, I'm a victim. No, definitely I could have been stupid. Like, I could have just been stupid. And I took things like the wrong way. And like I misunderstood what they were talking about. And worked my ass off. for absolutely nothing. But deep down in my heart, I did that because I wanted to make sure everyone was fine.